Oh, and now I've got a golf estate to sit behind. Glorious day. Oh, that noise is very addictive, very immature, very boisterous, and definitely going to get an ASBO for it, for being yobbish and knobbish. I'm actually doing a walk around my new vehicle. I tried to do a couple of videos, but these are my first ones. I've probably done a terrible job. Oh, that noise. Yeah, I bought a bike. It is a new Kove. Not really sure. I think they say Kove. That's almost Brazilian, but I think Chinese say Kove, but it's spelt and pronounced in England as Kove. I'm guessing Kove would have an A at the end. K-O-V-E-A. But anyway, let's not get bogged down with who's spelling what spelling you're spelling. Got a new bike, Kove 800X Pro, because there is now a Rally edition. I think there was another one as well, but I'm not too sure on that, so I won't mention it. So I bought this. I bought it brand new with no miles on the clock. I've run it in, which is 600 miles, 1,000 Ks. Run in, change the oil, change the filter. Gone over a few things just to make bolts and make sure bolts and whatnot to tighten. Nothing was loose, I don't think. Not anything that I was going to be concerned about anyway. So yeah, it's had its run in. I'm now on, as you can see, 1,350 miles, something like that. I haven't really done any excursions on it yet. Been to my mate in Oxford a few times, but I haven't. I've been to Salisbury Plain on it once or twice. I'm going to stop here. Let's have a little walk round of it. Bloody, I struggle to see the indicators on this. They're not very big. Maybe I'm just old and blind. Walkie, tookie, tookie. So here it is, my new Kove. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. I know it's not everybody's taste. What the hell's that? Some birds jizzed on my bike. Maybe it was me. It's not to everybody's taste. I get that, but I think as a adventure bike with looks, I mean, it's giving me a bit of a semi. I think that is a very, very good looking bike. The eyes look a bit like that. You know the one I mean. I think he's a sloth. And his eyes are wider than his shoulders. So I've bought the bike. I've run it in. I've changed the oil. And I've done quite a few upgrades now. It's So it's a KTM 790 engine, effectively, although it is slightly, they've reworked the oil ways and they've done some extra little bits, I believe. So it shouldn't have any of the cam issues that some people have had. Not all. I know a few people with bikes and they're fine. But let's not get bogged down. There it is, 800X. So it's 90 something horsepower. Also, the biggest thing, it's light. It's very, very light. It's they say 195 standard with the standard exhaust and whatnot. This one is an aftermarket. I do know someone who's basically done the same upgrades that I have, which is mainly the exhaust system for weight saving. So this is a full titanium headers and everything exhaust now, which I think goes from, I think it's 9.5 kilos, maybe 10, goes down to about 2.8, I believe. So it's a big weight saving. Yeah, I'm sure he said it was around about 7 kilos of weight saved with the exhaust. And it sounds, as you've heard and will hear, it sounds lovely. I really like the sound of it. It's a great sounding bike, to be honest. There's most of the noise you hear when riding is actually coming from the intake, because the intakes are up the top here and it makes a lovely growling noise. So yeah, so bits I've done the exhaust, all of it. I've put on the bash plate at the bottom. There's a little small bash plate that comes with it, but it's not as sturdy or as protective as that one. I've put much bigger pegs on, which aren't for this bike. These are the nice CNC ones that are for another bike, which the pin size was the same and the pins were the same. I've just shaved the back off and about 0.5 mil off of the actual depth from there to there. I literally, yeah, just a thin angle grinding blade, not even a blade thickness, and they've gone on. But they're much, much better. I can put my foot out wider, and yeah, allows me to do other bits. I've put the tail tidy on, much better. The other one wasn't horrific, but it sort of finished sort of out here and wasn't particularly good looking. I've made up a little plate, which I do for my off-road bikes. It's just I make a plate up. I do it for quite a few of them. There are some spacers that you can see here, and I bolt it through, and then it just allows me to mount 2 phones like that out of the way. If the bike goes down, it's probably the least placed it will get hit, I should imagine, I hope. Levers, I hate long levers. I like to use one finger for braking and clutch work, that is. So yeah, I always put shorter levers on. I'd like to make it a little lighter. It's very light anyway, but I'd like to make it a little lighter. But I think that's just my enduro sort of trail riding coming out, because I work clutch, but I think it's something you're not really meant to do on adventure bikes. If you agree or disagree on that, let me know. Handguards, put them on. Heated grips, put them on. Different screen. The other one that comes with this standard, it's a little clear one, and it only just about covers the screen, which is a beautiful screen, by the way. Really colourful, really bright. Yeah, a few people gone, oh, is that standard? Okay, yeah, they're very impressed with that. So I've put this different screen on, and then I've also put these 2 brackets on, which allow me to, not on the fly, however, which is annoying. I might try and come up with a way so I can move that up and down. I might put some butterfly nuts and bolts on, so I can, I mean, I'm not going to do it whilst riding, but I can pull over, undo, move it up, do up. I think that would be a much better solution. I've put these on. They weigh nothing. They keep it from hitting the guards, which come as standard. I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you? I'd much rather it wear that away than start scraping it and bending these. I have had the wheels out, front and back, and I was general little rule, I always think, have a look at the wheel bearing grease, and you know, it tells you sort of, do you need to start stripping things down or not. They were very well packed with grease, far more than any of my other bikes that I've got. Yeah, I was very happy with that. So I always find it's a good little indicator as to whether they've put some effort into it or not. I've taken the rack off, so it normally comes with a rack, lovely big rack. It says only hold 5 kilos, but it probably weighs 3. There's no way it will only hold 5 kilos. It's a real, I mean, look at the picture, you know, Google it, look at a normal picture. It's a real solid rack. I'd quite happily put, you know, a load of gear on that. No problem at all. I tell you what I do like, there is a separate, I don't know if you can see it here, this is the preload adjuster for the shock. So there's no faffing, you know, you've already got one, which is there, which is quite nice. So, you know, if you're putting gear on, you can just whip it up, you know, stiffen the back up to take the extra weight and whatnot. That's about it for now, I think. Yeah, exhaust, bash guard, protection, grips, handle, hand guards, screen, plate. Yeah, I think that's all I've done at the minute. I've got some other bits coming. I've ordered different crash bars. I have a bar that goes from here to here. I'm not that bothered about it, but it is, if I go away, I would like to put a bag on there for just some luggage bags. Gets it up off the back, and it gives me something else to help protect the bike. And I can't mount a bag with just this bit, because otherwise you're trying to strap it over here and do other bits, and it's a pain in the arse. So at least with the bar there, I can use 2 straps, pull it on and pull it all into the bar, and it's not going on to another part of the bike. I've put these on. Put these on the other day. Just helps, really nice thick quality rubber. And this, I put them on as well. They're not standard. Bar risers. So again, this is the original riser. The bars obviously have gone in there, so you can turn these round, so you can see they're slightly offset. You can turn them round so you can have them back or forward. I found with them back, I felt like I was far too cramped, so I put them forward, and then I've got these additional bar risers because I also still thought they were still a bit too low. Because the bike is very, very low to sit on. It's got a load of ground clearance, as you can see. I think it's 200 and... I'm going to hazard a guess to that, and I'm going to say about 250 at least. Maybe more, maybe 270. But I've put the bars, you can see, they're basically in line with where they would have been, but they're just up higher, if that makes sense. If you drew a line down from the bar, they would have, so they haven't moved forward much now. They're actually still in line, but they're just, because when people put bar risers on, a lot of people don't, you're actually moving them back, which de-weights the front. yes, I've put these ones on. So everything I've bought except for the pegs, the hand guards, which I make these little weird. These are actually like concrete anchors that I've always used. I put them in. They're absolutely solid. They're not going anywhere. It's not an Allen key that you're just going to wound and round off. Everything I've bought is from a shop called Uncle Wang. I'm sure everybody's heard of it by now if you're looking at these bikes or any of the Chinese bikes. He does quite a lot of stuff. He's he's very good to deal with. Any problems, you're straight on, and he'll tell you. When it came, rear chain guard, the slide at the bottom, I'll put that on as well. This, when it came, some of the stuff, it came all in one box, which is fine, but nothing was sort of tagged to anything, so you just sort of had 5 items, for example, and 5 bags of bolts. So a lot of people are going, there's no instructions there's no instructions, and I get that, and if you're not that sort of way inclined, then fine, I think, it would be nice. But I didn't find it too difficult to think, right, this one's got 6 holes and there's 6 bolts in this, now do they line up with that? It didn't take me long. I reckon it took another 10 minutes or so to figure out what they were, where they were going, how to get them there. So everything went on, everything's bolted up. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's 95 brake at the minute. Like I say, I have got a friend who's done the same mods as me, and he's weighed his at 1865, I think. Yeah, he's done pretty much the same. Hello. Maybe fancy some lamb this weekend, actually. It'd be nice. Yeah, great bike. Bad bits. There's only 2 real bad bits, but they're reasonably... that's another mod that I've done, but I'll tell you about it now. It is choppy. The throttle is choppy, especially standard. I'm in eco mode, and what I've done to try and help that, so with the exhaust you get a separate ECU that comes with it, which is just under the seat, and it is it's very reasonably simple. Clip in, clip out. There's a clip that turns and you just pull it out, put the new one in, blah blah blah, and it has definitely helped with the fueling. It has made it 20-30% less choppy. I have also, which when you do that, you remove the O2 sensor, which would have gone in the exhaust down there. I did remove that, just pulled it out, unplugged it, and no error code or flashing lights were screaming at me. Yeah, so basically, I've got the original ECU at home in a box with the original exhaust, which I'll keep for any issues. This one came with another ECU, but anyway, there's just a sensor that goes in, and there's a cable up here somewhere that I just pulled the sensor out of, and it didn't give me any issues. So there's no problem with removing that sensor, because I did think, do I need to get someone to drill a hole and weld a little nut on and put the sensor back in? But I don't think it needs it. But it is still choppy. So I've also fitted, there is a throttle tamer. See this throttle tube here? And what that does is the cam inside, which holds the throttle cable, it changes how that twists. So, if you can imagine it's here, and as you turn it, it moves round. Well, this one, the first 20% of it is a much longer rotation. So as you're going along, you get to there, and it's only giving you, it's really smoothed that first 20% out, and then you can feel it coming back onto the normal cam and it picking up and taking off like a bit of a rocket ship that this thing can be if you want it to be. So that was about 70 quid, I think. It's for a Honda CRF 250 300L. And that made another big difference. So I think with that and the ECU, I'm probably 50-60% better. But it's not perfect. And I still think that really I need to have it mapped. And then I'm really hoping that will dial it in. I see where I notice it the most. If you're rolling off, it'll roll off fine until about 3,000 revs, and then it really clips off on its own. Hiya. It really, yeah, you get to 3,000 revs, and it's almost like someone's put 20% brake on. Once you start to ride it, you sort of learn it and you get round it, and that's fine. But sort of on and off traffic in first and second gear can be quite hard in low revs. You end up clutching basically, which isn't the end of the world again. But I think it's something that you can dial out on a dyno. The suspension, especially the forks, I find it's very hard. I should have, but I haven't done it yet. I'm going to pull the forks out and put a rubber O-ring on them and see how much I'm using the travel. But when I first got it, for sure, let's have a look. So I've been out today and I can see, I reckon I've broken that quite hard. I might be down halfway. They're quite stiff. So I think I need to. You can get a K-Tech kit for it. I've looked into it. You can get a K-Tech kit to revalve, and I might revalve the shock. But I think once it's been mapped and the suspension's done, I think it's going to be a bit of a weapon. I really do. It's very light, even moving it around my garage compared to other bikes. I mean, at 186, it's 25 kilos lighter, at least, than a Tenere, with another 20 or so brake. It's a bit of a weapon. Kove are quite cool. They let you service it yourself, I believe. So I think it's 3,000 miles service. But the noise with this full titanium exhaust is quite something. ABS, that's a very good thing with this. So on this, you can turn the ABS off, and it's not like the Tenere. You can turn it off and leave it off. So I've got traction control off at the minute. And the only annoying thing is it does flash my rear wheel, telling me that the traction control's off, which is fine. It just niggles me. I think I don't need to see that flashing. It makes me think, am I losing pressure at the back? But I don't think I am. So I have my pressures up on the screen. But it is nice being able to turn it off. That's it. I haven't got to faff around. I'm off-road for 3-4 days, whatever. I ain't got to keep turning it on and off and setting this. And I mean, it's, yeah. Put my little thing down here. It's got to be up. Why has it got to be up here? Something else for me to look at. Tuck it down there. These Oxford ones are very good. So if you do walk away and you leave them on, in a couple of minutes, it notices that the battery voltage is going down, and they turn themselves off if they notice that it's draining too much. Ready? What a lovely noise. Right, let's go for a little poodle. We'll see how we get on. So yeah, the bike's quite smooth on the road. It's got a lovely amount of power. You get in trouble, that's for sure, with the bosses. Oh, there's some biker friends up here. Hello, biker friends. Some beautiful houses. Someone's had a go at that bush.